Hello everyone, my name is Tanja Cunz. I'm a curator at the Vitra Design Museum and as such responsible for the exhibitions at the Vitra Schaudepot. Thank you very much for joining us today for this guided tour through the exhibition Gae Aulenti, A Creative Universe, that was realized in close collaboration with the Archivio Gae Aulenti in Milan. Gae Aulenti is one of the most important architects and designers of the post-war era. In total, her multifaceted oeuvre comprises more than 700 projects from the fields of architecture, interior and object design, stage design, as well as exhibition architecture. Gaetana Aulenti was born in 1927 in Palazzolo dello Stella. After finishing school, she first studied art in Florence, but quickly changed to architecture, and in 1953 she graduated at the Progressive Politecnico di Milano as one of only 2 women in her class. Her first design objects were created in 1960 in conjunction with her participation in the exhibition New Designs for Italian Furniture in Milan, which was considered a manifesto of the Italian neo-liberty movement to which she also belonged. From the beginning of her career as a designer, she made a significant contribution to the worldwide success of Italian product design with such iconic objects as the Pipistrello lamp, for example, about which I will also talk later. But first, let's have a look at her first commercial piece of furniture, the rocking chair Scarsul from 1962, produced by Poltronova. Gae found inspiration in historical forerunners from Tonet, which she then translated into a contemporary design language. The Locus Solus series was made of orange or yellow lacquered tubular steel and was originally designed for outdoor use in 1964 and produced by Poltronova. In addition to the lounge chair that you can see here, as well as this footrest that could also be used as a table or a stool, the range included other objects such as a lamp, a regular chair, but also a bench, a dining table, etc. Also in 1964, Gae adapted some pieces of the Locus Solus series for indoor use for the manufacturer Zanotta, and like many of her other design objects, she also used them to furnish or equip her own apartment. And here you can see an example. This is one of her studio apartments in Milan with Locus Solus chairs in a lacquered version. Both the Pipistrello lamp from 1965 and the Kingston lamp from 1968 were originally designed for the showrooms of the typewriter manufacturer Olivetti. Pipistrello for the one in Paris that was completed in 1967, and then Kingston for the showroom in Buenos Aires. Both showrooms featured a progressive formal vocabulary and selection of materials that aimed to emphasize the modernity of Olivetti's products. In addition, both showrooms feature the architectural element of the staircase that also served Aulenti in many of her other interior and exhibition designs, as well as her set designs. The fact that both the Pipistrello and the Kingston lamp, as well as both showrooms, look entirely different, even though they were conceived for the same company, can be considered one of the main characteristics of Aulenti's design approach. Whatever she created, be it a private house or a public building such as a museum or an airport, an interior or an object, the design was always influenced by the context, namely its location and therefore also the local history and culture. Hence, when working on a project, Aulenti was never interested in imposing her own handwriting. Instead, and by focusing on the context, she developed a very diverse formal language. Nevertheless, there are several reoccurring characteristics and motifs in Aulenti's designs, such as the motif of the staircase mentioned before, as well as the use of strong colors such as orange or red. And in terms of materials, Gae often worked with glass and metal. What's also striking is the architectural character of many of her objects, including the table Jumbo from 1965, which results from a very precise design process. In other words, even though an object can have an innovative curvy shape, such as the chair 4794 that Aulenti created in 1968 for Fiat, Or even though an object might have an experimental shape, such as the lamp Patroclo from 1975, it has nevertheless been designed with great precision. This is also made clear by all the technical drawings that you can see here, and it's also founded in Gae's training as an architect. So whatever she did, her approach was the approach of an architect. She rarely worked with hand-drawn sketches. There are only a few examples. Here you can see some of Scarsur, but this was one of her first objects. And another one is the lamp Rimorchiatore, but even though it is quite precise, but everything else actually was always designed by using the means of a technical drawing. Another well-known object by Gae Aulenti is the table Davo Lock con ruote, designed in 1980, and there is an interesting story about how she came up with the design. In 1979, Gae was appointed art director of Fontana Arte, and as such she visited the production facilities of the company. And there, the simple trolleys that the workers used to transport heavy panes of glass caught her attention and inspired her to create this table. Another interesting feature of the table is the fact that the nuts and the screws have deliberately been left uncovered to highlight the industrial aesthetic that is directly linked to the origin of the design. Like her architecture, many of Aulenti's objects are shaped by an innovative approach, such as the lamp Giova from 1964 that you can see here, whose upper part also serves as a vase. And here you can see Giova in Aulenti's last apartment in Milan, which is now the location of the Archivio Gae Aulenti. Another multifunctional object that also diverges from the common understanding of objects is the futuristic and sculptural Rimorchiatore lamp from 1967. It is a lacquered metal hybrid consisting of two lamps, a vase and an ashtray. If you look at it from the side, it also resembles a tugboat, and actually Rimorchiatore is Italian for tugboat, so hence the name. Also interesting are these frames with matching stands from 1986, produced to this day by Bottega Ghianda. They were originally used in the Gare d'Orsay that Aulenti had turned into a museum between 1980 and 1986. It is one of her most celebrated and well-known projects in the fields of architecture, and in 1987 she was appointed Chevalier de la Légion d'honneur for it. What's remarkable about the design of the frames is that the glass and the wooden parts are on the exact same level. The last piece I would like to show you is the so-called Rossini chair from 1986 that was used as part of the furnishings of the Palazzo Grassi, whose renovation was entrusted to Aulenti in 1985. But while many of her objects were specially designed for her interior or architectural projects, the furnishing for the Palazzo Grassi originated in the stage design she created in 1984-85 for Gioacchino Rossini's opera Il Viaggio a Reims. It was directed by Luca Ronconi, whom she had joined as a teacher at his experimental theatre design workshop between 1976 and 1978. Subsequently, she designed more than 10 sets for him and was awarded the Ubu Award for 3 of them in 1979. In general, theatre or set design played an important role in her practice because the things she learned while working on these sets, such as the importance of movement and time, directly influenced her practice as an architect. Thank you very much for joining us on this tour through Aulenti's creative universe, and we hope you enjoyed.